Well, very good evening. Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Friday late night. You know, we're back. You never know when we are going to be on. But the good thing is we got the FA Cup with us. Shall we show you it?
That's what it's all about.
It is what it's all about. Monday night against Derby County. Something to look forward to, isn't it? Get us away from all the shit that's going on.
It's a break. Can I just point out to the people complaining, it's called The Late Show for the reason. It ain't because it's supposed to be at 10 o'clock. It's because it never starts at 10 o'clock. That's why it's called The Late Show. So, no complaints, please.
Have I got people complaining?
Oh, Dodsy's mathing off, bleeding.
Oh, Dodsy. Yeah. If he hadn't been playing fucking, what's he playing? What's he into? Golf.
Yeah.
He set up his TV so he can play a fucking golf game on his TV. What's all that about?
Oh, mate, I think he spends more time looking at the swans myself, but still.
How are you anyway? Good week?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Bit of graft. So, pleased that I don't know if I'm pleased. It looks like Arsenal knocked out the cup.
Oh, I haven't been watching the game. So that was Man City, wasn't it?
They were 1-0 down the last time I looked, which is good because everybody at work is like an Arsenal fan.
Fucking hell.
So
how must that? What must that feel like being amongst?
Well,
why are they all Arsenal fans? Are you working up in North London?
So yeah, I work up. The office is well in Garden City. My mate's the boss. He's Arsenal fan. All the directors are Arsenal fans. Load of the office are Arsenal fans. There's a few spuds thrown in. There's me and another bloke and my mate, and we're both West Ham. But it is funny because the girls in the office, like a few of them Arsenal, and you know, I walk in and I don't care about the result. I just give them stick. You know? Fucking hell. And one girl went at me the other day. She went, "You're just how I imagine West Ham fans to be."
What? How does she imagine a West Ham fan to be then?
A proper mouthy cockney.
Fuck me,
not like you. Not like you, Stel.
So we're going to talk about the cup, but stone me. If we've been reading and believing everything we've heard so far this week, the club's about to melt down in it. We might as well shut up shop with all the negativity that's going on.
Well, I don't know, but look, it's all the fun of the fair, isn't it? You know, I know, you know, circus, joke club, whatever you want to say it. I quite enjoy it. Come on, you know, there's a bit of fun to be had with it. In reality, that there's a bit of me, it heartens my soul that we're still a car crash of a club. I always thought we would be. You know, and it's part of the charm of West Ham, the fact that you can sign a bloke, he plays 20 minutes and then he's out for 4 weeks, and then your best defender goes out with him, and then the sporting director who's done his 1 month Harvard degree online, it turns out, he didn't even go to America. So he did it from, he'll have you know that he did it from Canning Town, but he obviously did it from his mansion in Essex somewhere. And he thinks he's going to, after doing his 1 month Harvard degree, he thinks he can come in and tell people, "Oh, we want to buy this player, don't we? I like the look of him."
What should we start with? Should we start the Noble saga?
We can do,
yeah. Because I won't lie to you. I mean, I know we all chat and we hear different things and so on. But I mean, he didn't resign, did he? It didn't get to that point.
Look, this is the way I take it. He's got the for whatever reason, you know. He probably thought, and there's probably not. It's West Ham, innit? His contract was done on the pack of a bleeding Tick-Bits magazine or whatever it was lying around. Yeah, it's Mark. We're in a bit of stuck. Yeah, because remember he was taking a year off. Yeah, so Mark, we're in a bit of stuck. We need some good news. Can you come and start your role in the summer, finish your course early? And he goes, "I passed it, geez. Finished your course early, and we'll get you in on January." And they announced it when we was going through a bad period, so it would look good. He thinks, right, isn't it? Yeah, see it. I don't know. Is it a sporting director? Does he actually think he's a director of West Ham? I wouldn't trust him to direct traffic in the car park myself. But anyway,
Oh, harsh, harsh.
harsh maybe. It'd tell all the cars to go back. What? So and then what he's probably done is he's got in his feet under the table. He's got Moyes, and I think Moyes is being a bit disrespectful, though. To be fair to Noble,
In the way he called him basically an
the
apprentice.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a slap down no matter what way. So that's probably put his back up because he probably thought he had a great relationship with Moyes over the past 3 years. So you get all this situation. He's in a new job. He don't know what he's doing. He's probably not got defined roles. He thinks he's going to be signing up on all these transfers, and Moyes ain't having it. And the chairman's got to back the manager.
Surely, though, Nigel, you would have thought they spoke about this role well before he retired, and you would have thought at the very least after his playing retirement, they would have had a sit down and gone, "This is what we expect from the role." Surely to God,
Yeah,
they
come on, this is
must
West
have had
Ham,
that
isn't it? No,
conversation.
all they know is they listen. Who gave him the title, Mr. West Ham? Yeah, so they've got to have Mr. West Ham at West Ham. They need him at the club. He's probably pissed off and gone to his dad or someone else
Or
and
someone
gone,
else.
I've had enough. I'm gonna tell them I can't. I'm not doing this job. They can stick it up their ass. The old man's probably told someone who's told someone, and all of a sudden, someone's told someone who's stuck it up and gone, Mark Noble's resigned.
Yeah.
When the truth is, it was probably like we've all been in the past, mouthing off to someone that'll listen, the nearest and dearest. And when we've walked down with our bosses on the Monday, we've realised we've all got mortgages to pay.
Yeah. Well, that's that's in a nutshell the cynical approach. I mean, I don't know what's triggered it. I mean, I think there's two reasons. It could have either, people are speculating it was the Ings signing, because he wasn't consulted, or people are speculating that it was because of that young lad who's gone to Sunderland, Pierre-Emerick, who I was, to be honest with you, really surprised that he's gone, because I thought he was being fast tracked.
Fast tracked? He's 21
really,
still.
no.
Right, hold up. He's 21 and not played a first team football.
Let me explain.
Is he working on H2? Is he High Speed Express? Because he's about as fast tracked as that new railway line.
Let me explain the fast tracking. My understanding was Pierre-Emerick was going to go out on loan this for the remainder of this season, cut his teeth at probably a championship team, and then come back. If he did well, come back fighting for potentially Declan Rice's role. That's how I understood it. And so when it was announced that he'd gone for good, because you remember the whole thing with Grady Diangano when he was sold, and Noble put out that tweet or whatever it was,
disappointed,
etc. So is it? I'm going to ask it might sound like a controversial question. It might not. Is he the right man for this kind of role if he's too emotionally attached?
Who, Mark Noble?
Mark Noble. I'm being serious. Is he the right man?
Yeah, but you're asking me to be serious in a reply. How can you be serious? I'm not being funny, right? And this is the thing. And people are going, is he like Edu at Arsenal? And you're thinking, hold up, Edu's a bit more educated. No disrespect to Mark. I know the bloody school he went. It ain't the cracking school. We all see it on that documentary. He was good at art and PE. He weren't much cop at anything else. Are you really going to trust him in that position? What when Moyes is slapping him down, calling the apprentice, it is a slap down because you don't expect it in public. That's what he is, though, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't see it. I don't get what his role is. Can you trust him to sign up on transfers? No, you can't. You can't trust him to sign up on transfers because he has got to learn the role. Edu did just trot up when he retired and go to Arsenal. He'd actually been at other clubs doing work.
But I've never thought it was meant to be anything to do with. Maybe I've misunderstood it, but when I read up about
Well,
his
Noble
new role,
misunderstood it.
well, he certainly did, yeah. Because when I read up about it, I thought it was all about being an ambassador for the club, and also looking at sort of advising, nurturing the academy players and giving advice as to who could. But surely the coaches are doing that already. Surely David Moyes is taking
There was a
advice
comment
from
in here
Mark
I saw
Robson.
earlier, and the people, and someone made a good point. The fact is that Steve Potts and Paul Konchesky, have had more experience doing roles in football and at West Ham than Mark Noble has.
Right.
And I think that about sums it up. Yeah. So and you know, that is actually how it is. So, you know, when Steve Potts retired, I don't know about Mr. West Ham, but he was a bloke, 400 appearances for West Ham, only ever played for West Ham, came for, you know, he was the Mark Noble, actually, of his era. You know, and he had to go off and become a taxi driver and play part-time at Dagenham and Redbridge when he retired from full-time football. That's when Dagenham and Redbridge were part-timers, amateurs. And he became a black cab driver. And it's only recently he's come back into coaching and came back into it in the last like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, quite with what was expected, because the role was never defined properly, it was ambiguous, wasn't it? Actually, that's what his role was. And I don't think anyone really knew what the role was. I don't think, you know, Noble had it in his head probably what it was. And it's turning out it's not. But
So
he can't know.
Therefore, all this hoo-ha about him getting upset and then social media going sort of quite nuts over it, because they are calling it yet again, you know, just another example of the way the circus is being run, etc., etc. I mean, I'm really surprised. You offer somebody a job, you make clear you have a job description. It doesn't matter whether it's in football or anywhere. You know, you make clear what that job's about. And I'm a little bit shocked that he's come in expecting it to be something that it hasn't been. What do you think now? How's it going to go forward? I mean, you know, is it amicable now? Is Noble gonna accept whatever he's now been told what the role is?
Well,
or are we going to have this sort of rearing its head again at some stage in the future?
The only good thing, I suppose, it's happened early, so it gets to define the role, and that's what it needs. His role needs defined, and sometimes you think we don't need to know, but I think in this case we need to know as well. So the multitude of YouTube channels don't spend their life going around going, "What's Noble doing?" You know, because you know what it's going to be like, and until it's actually defined, so many questions are going to be asked.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the end of the day, yeah, I will poke fun of his, you know, 10-hour Harvard degree or online doctorate, you know, because West Ham made a big thing of it.
Yeah.
He's gone and done this course, which we don't really understand. Which, let's face it, if would you put unless it is a multi-million-pound business, would you hire a middle manager straight off the line from university who's just passed a degree that he'd only spent a month studying for?
What Ballon says, Noble appointment was to appease the fans.
Yeah.
Do you think that might be an element of truth there?
That's what I said to you. It was like, we're in trouble. Noble, when he said, I wanted a year off. Yeah, he said that. I wanted a year off. They announced it in November. He'd only been gone 4 months.
Yeah.
They probably hadn't taken all his name down yet. You know, whether he Arthur, that's mine. Whether he
Cheers, Gary, much appreciated, mate. YouTube takes about 60% of that, and he wants his share. So thanks for the £2.50. No, seriously, Gary, thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
So if YouTube takes 60% of that, people, I'll tell you how you can give me more. We'll do it a different way. We don't want to be paying that tax. I've been there in revenue, ain't watching this.
Well, you never know.
I'm sitting here with my FA Cup. I'm skinned, people. I'm skinned. You know, it's just, Noble, I don't know. You know, the funny thing about this is he's going into this role which says he's not going to be a coach, because you can't then go, oh, I'm going to be a coach, is it? This is a role that keeps him in the scenes, I suppose, as such, like for the life. I don't know. You know, when I look back and you think, when John Lowell retired from football because of injury, he was the wages clerk, but did coaching. So they gave him a job as a wages clerk to keep him busy during the day, and then he coached the kids after school. Worked his way up through the
Kind of
coaching.
cut his teeth through that.
Through the coaching,
Yeah.
yeah. But he had an office job at the club, and then worked his way up. You know, Noble's gone straight in. Or like, if you're looking at the title, as I say, at like almost senior management level, behind the scenes, and yet the
Because sporting
experience.
director at other clubs means a very, very different
Yeah.
role. Very
Well,
different role.
to me, a sporting director is the person that dictates the ethos of the club.
Yeah.
Now, in a way, you would go, Mark Noble should understand the ethos of the club, and I believe that he does understand the ethos of the club and would want it run the right way. And in a way, the Grady Diagana tweet, in a way, does say he understands that the ethos, that actually we're supposed to be bringing you through for us and not feeding them into other clubs, though they have got to be good enough, but they've got to be given a chance to prove they're good enough. And I think Diagana actually did prove he was good enough himself, but we'll see. So is it, you know, it's one of the most important jobs, because the idea is that he will have a say in the managers that come in, and they have to fit into that ethos of club. When you look at clubs that run sporting directors, you go and look at Germany. So if you take Germany, for instance, go look at Bayern. I think it's Oliver Kahn, my cousin, who's now running the shop. He's took over from Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, who was a Bayern and German legend. You go through a lot of the German clubs, and they've got ex-players, top stars. But Oliver Kahn retired 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's obviously doing things at Bayern behind the scenes to go into that position, to dictate it.
It's a shame, really, because I think someone said, you know, it's a token role. Clearly, it's a token role and no more than that. You've kind of alluded to it as well. And I mean, if Noble turns around and says, I've really got no stature here, because I mean, you look at, you just mentioned about Germany, you look at leagues like Spanish leagues or Italian leagues, their sporting directors are directors of football, really.
Yeah,
you know, they're the scouts, they're the advisors to the manager. They do give advice. They do turn around and say, this is the player that we believe we're going to get for you.
Well, the Real Madrid sporting manager was Jorge Valdano, I believe, who was like a striker for them in the 80s.
So the process is right, you know, an ex-player coming back, etc., etc. But perhaps, as you've said, they kind of like they've rushed this because thinking, oh, this is the right thing to do, without really putting in a lot of deep thought about what should the role be. Because when I read, I think it was when he did the interview with the official website, it was about being like an ambassador, and it was about helping the manager in terms. Now, I read it about the academy. I thought, you know, it was more about that. And I did see a little bit about, you know, players, but I didn't take much notice of that because it wasn't a big deal of the whole role. It was almost like mentioned in passing. So maybe Noble's taken that as gospel and thought that it was going to be a bigger role than it is. But as you say, has he actually got the qualifications to do this? You know, being an ex-player and just coming, you know, just after finishing a year doesn't necessarily make you the right person to be going out scouting. What's the scouting network for? If Noble thinks he's going to be doing that, well, isn't there a conflict there as well?
No, I don't think so. Every club probably on the same lines. You have scouts that feed into the that feed into. So you'll have lower scouts that would then make their recommendation, and then the scout. I suppose the head of the scouting network is Newman, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I'd imagine he would then sit down with his team and go through. And you probably find that there could be like 30 or 40 scouts dotted all round. They'll have a South American scout. West Ham will have a South American scout because someone would have obviously dropped Alvarez into the conversation.
Yeah.
They'll have a European. They'll have European scouts. They'll be looking. And that's the way of the Premier League. The Premier League's the big beast, isn't it? So
there's a comment here. I just want to pick up on this, Trini. I don't think we're digging out Noble, to be honest, and forgive me if you think that's what we're doing. I think it's more about the understanding of what the role's meant to be. Clearly, Noble's understood it to be something that we've now found out it isn't. So it's not it's not having a dig at Noble, is it really? Well, you are.
But look, at the end of the day, let's face it, yeah? When you look at the way they sold it, I think we've got every right to poke fun at it. Because it don't make sense. I'm sorry, it don't.
Yeah. But it's not poking fun at Noble per se. It's poking fun at the whole situation.
The situation.
Yeah.
The situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And though, to be fair, if Mark did go into that job and if he did think that he was going to sign off, and this is the thing, yeah, who really knows what happened? Yeah. I think something happened, but I'm just guessing. The same as we all are guessing. Mark Noble will know what happened, and I doubt it'll ever come out.
Yeah.
Because it was shut down by the club pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then people that broke it or the people that commented were soon backtracking again. Even
it's not what we said. It's not what we
no truth in it. No truth in it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
Something happened. He probably didn't go in and go, didn't write the letter, I quit, and leave it on the windscreen like I did once. And then lock the only keys to the car in the car. So when they got there, they couldn't even get my I quit letter out the window. I don't think he did that. He's not an idiot like me. But, I'm not digging him out per se.
No, it's the situation. Yeah.
And it boils up from, I think it was a rushed appointment because, as I say, he wanted a year off. It was announced 4 months after he left the club he was coming back. So there was the big build-up. They made light and they pushed forward the fact that he'd been to Harvard and done this course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another bit of batshit PR, really, by the club, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Ian, we are going to Mr. Gravity. He's a listener of your podcast.
He's a top man. I won't have a bad word said about him.
Well, it's good. He's starting to watch me, and I love that. Thank you. We are going to talk about the FA Cup and who might start. Fantastic to hear that Mbama scored again tonight.
Yeah, we beat Chelsea 3-2.
Yeah, great. I mean, they sorted out their early season problems. The under-21s, they're doing exceptionally well, and I'm sure the under-18s. Fuck me.
Well, the thing about the under-18s, they're still going strong. Mbama has obviously been moved up into the 21s.
That's right,
because he's still scoring.
Yeah.
We beat Chelsea 3-2 under-23s. Great result because Chelsea have been on this winning streak. We're top of the table. I don't think they'd lost for like 7 or 8 games, but we were on a good run. We've now won 4 out of our last 5.
Yeah.
And the one that we lost, I think, was the last week against Man United. We lost 3-2. I think we were
winning 2-0. Yeah, we were winning 2-0.
We threw that away in the second half.
Yeah.
So, it's hopefully Mbama, and I'd love for this boy to get in because he's a Silvertown boy. He's from the heartland, as as I'd like
Well,
to
as
call
we
it.
started talking about the academy and development, let's move on to that, because it's been another bugbear, hasn't it, of social media, and then fans hearing what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned about let's get on, if I can find his image. Well, let's start with him, because he was under 23s, under 21s. Connor Coventry. Do you get the move to Rotherham? We've gone and extended his contract for another year. We've given him 6 months in the Championship with a tough task, because Rotherham aren't doing that well in the Championship at the moment. He goes out and cuts his teeth and shows what he can do. Surely, by extending his contract for another year before he moved on, surely there's hope for Connor Coventry, no?
I think if you what's Connor, 21, 22?
He's 22 now, yeah, 20, well, maybe 23 actually. Yeah.
Is it not that ship has sailed?
It might be his last chance saloon, I would say, yeah. I
Yeah.
think
But again, have we seen enough of him to condemn him, to say
yeah.
he's not good enough? No, and I will maintain, no, we haven't.
Because many people are talking about Josh Cullen the same. Now, I always thought Coventry was a better player than Cullen, and now he's gone off. He's done what he did under Vincent Kompany. Has come back with him to Burnley. Apparently, he's doing exceptionally well. We'll probably see Josh Cullen doing it in the Premier League next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard with the academy, because West Ham of old, we brought our kids through. Yeah, but the thing is a lot of people don't want West Ham of old. Yeah, they want West Ham to be competing every season for a top 6 spot. Well, the kids that come through have to be top notch and ready the moment they come through. And we're fighting, obviously, a lot of youth setups to get these kids in. And this may be an harsh, because if you look at the kids that have left us, how many are playing for Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham,
this is the thing,
whatever.
yeah.
So, and this is the thing that it boils down to. If you want to be romantically attached to the Academy of Football mantra and everything else, then actually what you have to be prepared for is the type of West Ham we got now. Yeah. Now I'm perfectly happy. I'm like a pig in shit. Yeah. Believe it or not, at the moment. But if you're saying, no, I want West Ham to be this club and regular, it's very difficult to do that by bringing through regular the youth players. So you do have to accept that you're going to move them on. Now, people will go, what's the point of having an academy then? But it's twofold. Because at the end of the day, the good news is these kids are still going out and playing football for clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
We get some money for it. So the club becomes self-sufficient. Technically, when we sell Declan Rice for the most expensive West Ham player ever sold, which he will become, that's 100% profit, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, there's other players that left this week. Mentioned Decwa a moment ago, and I won't lie, mate. I was actually really surprised that he's gone. I thought he might go out on loan, but I've already mentioned that, and then followed up quite quickly by Will Greenish. So what people are seeing, what fans are seeing, is, hang on a minute, there's another couple of academy players that have gone out, not given a chance, etc. Now, it's quite different for Greenidge. He was with the club since the age of 6, came through the youth ranks. He's had quite a lot of injuries throughout his young career. And
he's gone to Colchester. No disrespect, yeah. Connor's gone to Rotherham, who are a championship club.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity there for him to...
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So if he puts in the performance, and the reason why that's like an insurance policy, the 1 year the extension, because what it is that if he goes there and does really well, and then he walks away and could sign for anyone for nothing or for just the tribunal fee, then it's a bit of an embarrassment, isn't it? So therefore, what you do is say, it's almost like it's a 50-50. We don't know if he can do it. So what we'll do is we'll send you out on loan to Rotherham, and if you can do it, we'll have you back. And
Yeah.
then we've got that extension done. If they hadn't get the extension done, then he could have gone there, done really well, and be snapped up by a better club. You know, it could be that he has to do a Josh Cullen. You know, let's face it, we'll see next season how good Josh Cullen really is.
Yeah, because that will be the big
Because
test.
they're coming up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'll see quite exactly whether he will be another. Well, we'll join the one that got away. It's always disappointing. I must admit, I was frustrated. I see Equa go. I got contacted by a Sunderland journalist that I know. And I told him the bits and pieces I knew about Equa. Told him what the senior source said about him, which he couldn't believe. And I don't know if he couldn't believe the fact that the senior source had said something or the fact of what he said. But
What
anyway,
did the senior source say?
uh,
Do I know that? I'm sure I probably.
you probably must know. If not, I'll tell you later. But anyway, it was great. You know, he put it in his little story in the Sunderland Echo or whatever the paper is, and mainly I think we got him for free.
Yeah, he came from Chelsea. He came on a free from Chelsea. Yeah.
So he was at Clairefontaine, which is
right.
the French like Star Academy.
Yeah.
And he went into Chelsea, and then we've snapped him up. But now he's gone for nothing. We're led to believe to Sunderland. So who have already got Elise, who I asked my friend. Well. Yeah, I asked my friend. He said, "Look, he blows hot and cold, but we can see there's a player there. So the club are persevering. You know, he's playing first team football week in, week out because the club can see there's a real player there." So
you've got a message from a certain Mr. Whetstone, by the way.
No, don't read it out, please. Because he's totally wrong. And we know he's wrong because I haven't. I personally haven't.
So the youth academy, I mean, there is a purpose for it. Yeah. But when people see players, you know, people have asked, you know, someone asked a moment ago, do we think we're going to see any of the development players, academy players, whatever you want to call them, get any game time? I think Monday is clearly an opportunity. We mentioned Mbama. Now he is. It's funny, isn't it, Nigel? Because, you know, you look at a whole load of youth players and you go, he's good, he's good, he's good, he's good. And then you don't hear from them again. And as you rightly said, they go off and they go to other teams and they don't break through, because if they do break through, we'd know about it. But I can't remember the last West Ham player that got developed that we sold that has really come good. I mean, we ended up having to sell the likes of Joe Cole, Chelsea and all that, but that's when we got relegated. You know, but
yeah, look, it's a tough one to find a player that's left us because he couldn't get into the team that went on to be a top-notch striker or the top-notch player. Yeah. So people rack your brains. I can go back as far, and the only one, and it's this, you know, when you think one, is a player called Ray Houghton who ended up at Liverpool winning league titles and, you know, Republic of Ireland, despite being born in Scotland, Republic of Ireland international, you know, scored one of their greatest ever goals against Italy in New York in the World Cup in '94. He was a youth player at West Ham, played one game in 1982, Arsenal away. But look at the players that were standing in front of him. And this is another thing you got to look at with the youth players, is that standing in front of Ray was Trevor Brook in Devonshire, Pike. Alan Dickens was thought of as a youth player who was going to go on to be better. Paul Allen. So there weren't room for him. So he thought his career would be better served. Off he went to Fulham, lower league, went to Oxford United, did well, then ended up at Liverpool. Now, then obviously we had the golden generation that we had to sell. But football has evolved then. We are a selling club, because if Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Man City decide they want one of our youngsters, as we'll find out with Declan Rice,
nothing's going to stop them.
Nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah.
So the aim is to try and produce players like that. to bring the money in, and hopefully you can
Is that
use it
wrong?
wiser.
Is that wrong?
Well,
It can't be,
no.
can it? Because so long as that money's reinvested back into the club, and and I guess this is the bit that's missing at the moment, that you're not really seeing that. And I guess we'll see what will happen with Declan's money. A lot of people are saying Declan's money has already been spent in the summer. People aren't expecting us to go out and buy another £100 million worth of players. But just want to come on to this. It's not worth it. Scrap the academy. It's of no benefit. Waste of money.
No,
Don't value the youth. Rarely produce the players anymore. Players like Decker are a rarity. I'm going to ask a question. Isn't that the same with most academies?
Well, all right. Let's put it like this. Yeah. So Ben Johnson, Declan Rice. So we've got academy players. Last season you had, I think there was 4, because Mark Noble was an academy player. So to say that scrap it's a waste of time, that's not true. And if West Ham, who self-titled themselves, we gave it to ourselves, the Academy of Football title, deem it worthy to do what Brentford have done, and to do what others have done, to scrap the academy teams, then that's a sad indictment of the club. So at no point should we ever consider, we give footballers an education. And if you look around at these kids playing at Sunderland, playing at Burnley, playing at West Brom, playing at Watford, or I don't know if he plays at Watford or not, the right back, I've forgotten his name now.
Oh, Ngakia.
Yeah, Ngakia, Jeremy Ngakia. At the end of the day, we are still producing kids that can go on and play football. So we've been a benefiter to them.
But not at Premier League level.
No, not at Premier League level. But at the end of the day, you still get a fee for producing them, even if it's at a tribunal. If you weigh up how much it costs to run the academy, what's it, 4 or 5 million? Some seasons it will overpay for itself. Some seasons you say it won't pay for itself. But I think in the long term, now it could be the one thing we haven't looked at or thought about is with Equa going, Coventry going out on loan, Greenwich, the other one, could be there's a clearing of the decks, because the under-18s are doing something special.
That's another good point, because the under-18s are doing something. It was a bit like the under-23s, what they did last season when it was the under-23s.
Yeah, it's now the under-21s, yeah.
And now it's the under-21s. Yeah. And, and you're absolutely right. From the under-23s last season, we ended up seeing a number of players going out on loan, and 2 of them went to championship clubs, Flex and Longello.
Yeah.
Now, Flex is back with us. Longello, there's a weird situation there where Birmingham have got 6 players on loan and can only ever use 5 at a time, either on the pitch or and on the bench. So he's suffered because he started a whole load of games, and he's had 2-3 bad games, and now he's being dropped completely. Now, my thinking is he's had 14 games, something like that, in the championship, and he was being talked about. Get him back. And give him an opportunity. If he's
where are you giving him an opportunity, though?
Well, I would give him an opportunity in the cup, to be honest with you, if he's not cup tied. If he's not cup tied.
What cup? The FA Cup?
The FA Cup.
What, the one we want to win?
Well, yeah, but look at the team we're playing, and we're going to come to that in a minute. Look at the team we're playing. If, for example, Mbama started on Monday, that wouldn't worry me. That wouldn't worry me. That would actually excite me. Let me answer this, so I'll take Chris's comment off, because you probably know better than I do. There's a rule in Bundesliga where you have a certain amount of German players in the squad. But do you mean, Chris, certain amount of youth players in the squad, or because everyone's got that? I mean, we got to have 8, haven't we, or something like that?
What, we've got to have 8 British players in the
squad? In our squad.
Do you know what? That's a good point. It's not a rule. It used to be. It used to be before all the EU and before Bosman that you could only have 3 foreign players.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they included the Republic of Ireland as foreign players. So it was people who were outside of the British Isles. So, but that obviously that went by. I think with the Bosman. So Reece Oxford, yeah, there's one. He's doing well at Augsburg, but he's not. Augsburg are a struggler. I don't know. I don't know what side. They were a struggling German team that seemed to hang around the lower echelons of the Bundesliga without getting relegated. So they're doing okay. Probably. Not Brighton-esque, because obviously Brighton are doing well, but in recent years, that type of team.
Bit like a West Ham.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, they'll have a couple of good seasons and then fall away, Augsburg. But I know he's had injury problems over there, but he has been playing.
So, I mean, the coaches, Mark Robson and Kevin Keane, who managed the under-18s and the under-21s, must have an awful lot to say about what players they would recommend to David Moyes. No? people talk about, Moyes is not close enough. He doesn't care about the youth development, etc., etc. He doesn't give them a chance and so on. And even I get frustrated when you see, last season we saw a couple of players in the Europa League. This season we've seen a couple of young players in the Europa Conference. They come on like Scarles did, Longello did last season, Mbama, etc. They come on, they show something, and then you kind of don't hear from them again.
It's a tough one because it is hard because it's such a cutthroat game now. In that, when you're playing well, you're not really going to. The best time to bring a youth player in to slot him in and give him minutes is when you're winning a game and playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we haven't been doing that, have we? Yeah, and that unless you've actually nailed on injuries, they're the only people. The last time you want to put a young player into a team is a team that's getting beat every week or can't win a game, because you would destroy their confidence.
Yeah,
it's you got to pick the right time for everything else. So it is a balancing act. I must admit, Moyes talks the talk, but on evidence, take away the playing of the youth players in the conference and in the Europa League last season. He played them in the dead rubbers.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get this right. Yeah. So, which is right, and in a way, not going to criticise him for doing that whatsoever. He ain't charged them, but yes, it is disappointing to see players leaving that aren't given a chance.
Because we're never going to really know if they can. We've now got one or two players. I think it's too early for Scarles, the left back or left wing back who played in the Europa Conference back in November. I think it's a bit too early for him. But Mbama is certainly one that I think we're now all keeping an eye on, because it looks to me like he could be the next one that's coming through. So that's why I'm hoping.
Look, you got to hope. Listen, at the end of the day, Mbama's played tonight. He's got 2 goals. Is he going to be? Hopefully, he'll be on the bench
at the very least.
No. Look, you can't play him on Friday night. Yeah, and they played 98 minutes.
No. What I mean is, what you're saying is he should be on the bench. He should be on the bench. He shouldn't be out of the squad completely. Is what I mean.
Yeah, I'd like, but. Yeah. What are the chances? He's played Friday night. You get him on the bench, part of the squad. It's funny because when you look back, I know football's different, but I don't know how other clubs do it, and I think they do it differently. I think the fact that we have a fractured training set up, so we got the youths are just at Shad Relief, so you got the juniors play at Little Leaf, I think. We've got like the under 21s, 23s training at Chad Relief, while the first teams stay at Rush Green. Mm-hmm. Now, what used to happen, all the old pros, old academy boys will tell you, is they'd be training on one pitch, pros would be playing, the first teamers would be on another pitch, and if there was an injury or whatever, the manager would shout out, send over a midfielder, send over a striker, yeah? Young kids come in, and that's their chance to shine in front of the manager as well. Well, You ain't getting that now. Moyes ain't seeing it and this is the thing. The manager's standing there looking at the kids. I don't know if David Moyes was there tonight, but I tell
Well,
you
the
what,
interesting thing
Harry
is,
Redknapp was at the youth games and the reserve games, and that's for me how it should be if you run in a club
and
like
how
West
he
Ham.
spotted the likes of Joe Cole and all that. But I thought, my understanding was that he kind of brought, pre-season, he brings them all together. He brings the creme de la creme of the youth squads and gets them all training together in pre-season and all that. And my understanding was that he is a lot closer. And I think it was Stuart Pearce or someone else that talked about that and said how everyone's in communication with each other. The under-18s coach, under-21s coach, the senior coaches, etc., are regularly communicating. So surely Moyes must know. He must be given regular feedback as to who is and
Well,
who
that's
isn't
the
really.
idea. That's the
Yeah,
idea of having a setup. I don't know. Perhaps that's where Noble thought he would fit in,
yeah,
being the link from someone steeped in West Ham. No one's going to know the club like Mark Noble, to be fair. He's going to know it. He came through from, 10, 12 years old.
yeah.
So he's going to have, if you look at the youth coaches that were there, some of them have been there 20 years. Well, guess what then? They were coaching Mark Noble.
They were coaching Mark Noble, yeah.
So, and the relationship he will have with those people, he should be able to go to them and go, right. Mark Noble, I would expect, would be at the under 21s tonight, watching the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what you would like and expect and hope would be the conduit. But what is the future for the academy? I think it carries on. There's obviously a good crop of 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds there.
Who could probably leapfrog some of the under 21.
We'll see that, and in a way, look, Mubama is 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And he's
just
playing
turned 18.
and he's playing with the under 21s and scoring goals. So
And
what they've done is,
he was playing for the under 18s at 14, 15.
yeah. So they've put him up. He's like the second year kid at school who's playing in the fourth year team and doing really well. So now the next thing is, right, we need to start putting him in, because the thing about kids are they're fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah. They will go out and they will make mistakes and the fans will forgive them because you can see the effort.
Yeah.
And, Tottenham discovered Harry Kane by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I maintain that, they brought Tim Sherwood in as a caretaker manager because they were in the stuck, and he had coached Harry because he'd been youth coach at Tottenham, and he brought him in. And if that hadn't have happened, who knows where Harry Kane had been, because they'd loaned him out to Leicester, they'd loaned him out to Millwall, they'd loaned him out to Orient. He'd got to 22. I think he was 22 when he broke into the Tottenham team. So, it was just by luck. They bring him in, he scores goals, and then they're like,
and it kind of proves
scoring, so they had to keep playing him.
And it kind of proves that there is a chance that some of these players will make it. It's not like they're going to be on
good enough.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, 18, gets brought in because Man United's got injuries, scores on his debut. And what's better, Man United, Manchester kid, born and bred, scoring for Manchester United. And the fans love it. And look,
in a way, I'm hoping that's what, because I think we do need a good shot, a shot of, I don't know, good luck or good news in the arm, don't we? Because we kind of like, I'm going to go on to this now because we do get fed an awful lot of disastrous news. Look at this, like Alan says, does anyone think the last week is a PR disaster? Is the board leaking misinformation to deflect the blame for their incompetence for not acting earlier? I mean, there has been a lot of bad luck stories, injuries, and players disaffected and quite openly talk. Well, not all players, but one in particular, quite openly talking about whether he's going to be here or not. speaking out again. And I
Okay.
know.
Did you
And I
listen
know.
to it?
Oh, fuck me, I've listened to it. And I'll
All right.
tell you, it
What did he say?
sounds like someone's throwing his toys out the pram
Did he?
to me.
Do you know
But I don't
what?
know. You tell me.
Do you know what? I heard people complaining about it. So then I listened to what he said. And I'm thinking, well, what he's being there is sort of honest. You know, he,
Oh, but he's saying two things about the way we're playing. I get that. And I don't have a problem with that because that is being honest about, saying that we've changed our style of play and it ain't working. And that's absolutely fine. But then he's gone on to talk about him. If they don't want me and, I've had talks with other clubs and all that. Surely that ain't right. Is it? I personally don't think it is. If I had a member of staff that was upset with me because of the way I'm managing them or whatever, the first thing I'd expect them to do is come to me and say, Stel, I'm not happy. Let's have a chat, blah, blah, blah. Or as a manager, I should be able to identify you're not happy, what's going on. With Antonio, he ain't delivered for the past year, but he thinks he still should be number one.
yeah, I think there's a bit of both going on here. I think that Antonio, if you want to make them claims, you got to be able to back it up. And the fact is, he's lost something from his game, without doubt. Because for 2 years, well, I don't know, 2 years. I'd go 18 months. He was top dog up front.
Yeah.
And we absolutely relied on him. And then possibly like West Ham's fault, he got surpassed last season by Bowen in the goal scoring stakes. I think he's disrespected a bit in a way because of he is our best, which is nothing to shout about. It's nothing. I don't know, I suppose it is. If you're Antonio and you're West Ham's greatest ever Premier League goal scorer, that's something to be proud about. But the fact it's only 55 or 7 goals, frankly, sums up West Ham's Premier League history in a nutshell. That if a bloke that weren't even a striker, can be our
top
best goal scorer, it just shows the shocking load of shite that we've had to put up with since 1992.
Trini, I did say a moment ago, Antonio's been honest about the way we play. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, to be fair, I'm with Trini here. I don't have a problem. I did not have a problem listening to him say it. Here's a bloke that's 33 years of age. West Ham, if we wanted to move him on, we would be as quick as anything to move him on. Personally, loyalty is a two-way street, and we know it don't exist at football clubs. They'll only keep the good ones and get rid of the crap ones. And then, and the funny thing is, fans only get upset at the good ones. Yeah. If Antonio was a crap player, well, he's crap at the moment, but but people would be going, don't care, let him go then. Yeah, the fact that people are really upset is because he's been a really good player for us since 2015.
He's been a good player throughout his career at West Ham. Yeah. There's no denying that, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think we've got to commend him. I think I said in a show a couple of weeks ago, the only 2 positions he hasn't played for us is goalie and centre back, but he's played in every other position and he's scored in almost or created a goal in almost every position he's played in. And I commend him for that. But I just my concern now is
that every dog's had his day. Every dog has his day.
Yeah, and
he's had his day. We need to be thinking about the future.
He should still be number 1 choice, and it's the irony is, this time last year he was talking about, we need, I'm happy to get other players in, challenging, etc., etc. And then when we went to get Skamaka in, I mean, it seemed his form has not been good for a calendar year, but it seems that he's really kind of become, I don't want to call him stroppy, but it feels like he's being stroppy this season. He feels like, and sometimes when you're stroppy, I wonder how much that affects players around you. I wonder what impact that might have on the dressing room and stuff like that.
Every business, you'll have people that are close, people that ain't close, yeah, cliques or whatever. So, you know, is Antonio going to be good? It's not. It's the problem. I always have a problem when you're a serving footballer and you've got a podcast like that. I don't get where it goes. That's the one thing. I'm not a great listener of it. I don't think it's you know, it's not. I listen to podcasts non-stop. I don't listen to that one.
Right.
You know, it's just I don't find it. I don't get what they can really talk about. And actually, that was probably listening to it. They're not so much honest, you know, but this is what life as a footballer is. At any moment, a team can say, "I don't want you no more," you know, and that's what I'm trying to say. We're expecting loyalty. We're expecting him to say, "I want to be here. I want to be there." Well, secretly, for all we know, the club have turned around and for all we know, and this does happen, clubs are trying to push players out the door. You know, so we don't exist in the real football bubble, and perhaps this is we get to peer inside it. You listen to that podcast, you get to peer inside it. And frankly, it's a dog eat dog world.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think West Ham would be better off with Antonio, but I'd like to see him realise that he needs to be winding down his career. You know, they're super fit, but he ain't going to be playing at the age of 35.
And appreciate he will become a squad player.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what, and that's the bit that I find unedifying about it is that he seems to think he should still be number 9. Well, the only way to prove that, mate, is to put the ball in the back of the net. And yes, you know, you are the best Premier League goal scorer, or you've scored more Premier League goals than anyone else. But no disrespect here. There's some damn sight better strikers that didn't have the chance to score that many goals. The likes of, you know, Di Canio was only here for 4.5 years. You know, he's done, what's he done? 7, 8 with West Ham?
Since 2015 is
so he's approaching 8 years at the club. Yeah. And
he's played in different positions as well.
Yeah.
So
well, Di Canio played up front and off the strike. He weren't the out and out striker at times.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes wide. You know, the likes of Dean Ashton, you know, the likes of Craig Bellamy, funny enough, you know, Bellamy's 10 times the striker for me, Antonio was. Was he a fleeting amount of time before moving on? Someone did put it in there. It's a great, fantastic stat though. 13 years of Golden Sullivan, 53 strikers, 22 never scored a goal.
It's sad, isn't it? It's pretty bad. It's pretty that shit beyond shit, really, isn't it? I mean, you can't top that. I don't think any club can. Trini said, has he seen Scamacca come in looking gash, buys Ings makeshift, probably thinks he can do better than them maybe. I disagree with that, Trini, only because Antonio's form has dropped since this time last year. You know, I remember leading up to coming into 2022, he was struggling scoring goals. And I think if I remember correctly, he scored on New Year's Day at Southampton. And then he went a certain period of time again without scoring. And it really started to sort of, so I kind of disagree with that. I know Scamacca hasn't hit the ground running. Ings has looked like, I actually think given the situation we're in, I think the Ings signing is a I'm going to say this in hindsight now, but it's a wise one. You know, had he not got injured the other day, he would have been even wiser. But I get why we got Ings in. But Antonio's form has just not been this season. So you can't just say it's only about because Scamacca and Ings is in. His form has dropped off quite considerably.
What he's got to look at is that when you're playing up front, you'll be judged on goals. Now, the funny thing is, we're all judging him here. Yeah, he did set up Bowen's second goal.
He did, but And I knew you'd come up with that, and that's the first thing he's done for quite a few games
I'm not sure it's the first thing he's done. You know, it's the bloke's
this
off form.
season.
But how do you get your form back? Only by playing. So I can sort of understand it. But at the end of the day, it does come to a point, and all players have to face facts, is that when you've only won one game in 8, something's got to change. And unfortunately, they're not changing the manager. So the manager has to change the players around. And then we had to bring in another striker. Now,
Yeah.
it is a desperate move. No word of a lie. Signing Danny Ings at 30 is a desperate roll of the dice.
Well, it is.
But it
Yeah.
had to be done.
But it had to be done. Yeah. And it is a desperate roll of the dice, without a doubt. All right. Let's go on and talk about. I'm not going to talk about transfers because, we know there's really only one. I mean, there's a whole load of different players that we're apparently linked to and not linked to, etc. But let's go on to Monday and the FA Cup. I mean, what are we expecting? We talked a little bit about, who might play, maybe one or two of the, maybe Mbama might start or at least be on the bench. Derby County, have I got the stats up? Because they are impressive, but we've got to remember they are only League One opposition. But then again, we suffered against Kidderminster last season. Here we are. We played them 76 times. We won 27, drawn 25, lost 24. Pretty average. Last time we played them, I'm sure you remember. You'll know about this.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's...
What have you missed out there?
It got us to the final of the FA Cup.
Was.
The first ever FA Cup.
It was the semi-final. Where was the game played?
I'm going to say Stamford Bridge and probably be wrong.
No, you're correct. It was Stamford Bridge.
It was Stamford Bridge. There you go. Oh, there you go. So that was the first time and the last time we ever met them in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So that bodes well, doesn't it?
Well, 100 years ago, since the first final at Wembley. So hopefully big celebration. Not in May, people, but in April, because that's when it'll be. I think it's April the 23rd, 100 years, around that time. So, I mean, it's quite an interesting stat because you think recently we've been quite dominant over Derby. I know we ain't played them for ages. They've been out of the Premier League. I think I'm going on 18, 20 years. I think they finished bottom with the lowest amount of points.
Yeah, I did have those details.
We played them probably last in the league game in the Championship, I'm guessing 2011.
Yeah.
Now, I remember we played them New Year's Eve at their ground, and Dan Potts made his debut, I believe, that game. Well, he definitely played that game and was good for us. But it's quite even when you look at it, 27, 25 and 24.
What's Ian talking about here?
Ian's talking about the League Cup. Which was the fifth round. He's right. It's the quarterfinal. 2 replays. Yeah. And then it was the second replay. There you go. Mine, it was Little's Cup. Yeah. It was the second replay that we won at Upton Park. Yeah.
So what are we expecting? I mean, look at their form at the moment compared to ours. Now, they haven't been beaten for 16 games. I know it's League One.
And that's the thing, let's compare form. Yeah, well, let's compare who we've been playing to who they've been playing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But then we have got Silkeborg in our 30 games there and stuff like that, which are probably on par with Derby. So we played 30 games already this season, 10 in cup competitions, 20 in the league.
I'll pick you up on our stats, actually, Stel. But
go on.
Well, who did we lose to?
We lost to Blackburn in the League Cup.
Remind me of the score, Stel.
1-0. Oh, well, penalties.
What was the score in the game?
0-0.
2-2?
2-2.
Yeah. So last time I looked,
apart from me forgetting the score.
The last time I looked, 2-2 was a draw.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't do
Hold
that.
up. Yeah. Are you going on games played? Yeah, because we drew that game. Yeah, we
You
lost the
can't do
penalty
that.
shootout.
We lost on penalties.
We've
So
played 10 cup games. We've drawn 1, lost 9, won 9. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't
I
agree.
can
But there
do
we
that,
go.
and I will do that. Yeah.
So they've played 34 in total. I mean, in the league, they've won 14, drawn 8. I mean, they're having a good league run at the moment,
Yeah.
and a pretty decent cup run as
Beating the
well.
likes of, NK Dons and
Yeah, I know. But people have suggest. I keep reminding myself I was at the game at Kidderminster this time last year, and fuck me, we were shit. We were awful.
yeah.
And if it hadn't been for Declan Rice coming on and just saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm just going to go for it."
The funny thing about that game is that's Kidderminster's cup final. Yeah.
It was, yeah,
all day long.
But will this not be Derby's cup final?
No, because for them, to be honest, to be where they are in the league and to have done as well as they have, absolutely outstanding achievement. I think Liam Reesenior was the manager, and he jumped ship to go to Hull. So they had the financial meltdown. They're lucky to still be playing football. It was that bad, a football club. So the fact is that they're still going, and they're doing so well because, they only ended up in League One because of this bleeding points deductions that you get for going into administration, and I think they got walloped big time. It was like 14 or something stupid like that. But they lost a lot of their good players as well. Yeah, 2-1 at Pride Park. That then was, I believe, December the 31st, 2011. Because on the way back, I was debating what I was going to do that evening. So, it's hard to compare. Personally, I'm putting out the best team we can, because I want the real one. Yeah, you got that photo of me, Stel, I sent you. Yeah, holding the real one.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that again, and get my uncle and my brother back in the photo. I might not crop their faces out next time, but feel free to put that up and show the people. This is what it's about. You get people my age, late 40s, early 50s or older, yeah, and we've all got photographs like that from the supporters club or wherever, holding that real FA Cup with the ribbons on. That my picture was taken in the supporters club, with the crepe paper as it was pinned to a board. For those that remember the supporters club, it was in the hall downstairs. I still remember it. It was in the hall downstairs, and the FA Cup's on a plinth, and behind it is a board with crepe paper, claret and blue, and you just stood there, and we queued. I think we had a queue for an hour. So, well, I was just running around the big hall while my uncle just waited for our turn.
It's a memory, isn't it? It's a memory, and we've spoken about this before. When there's been sort of the overdrive about our season shit, etc. And if we survive, I think we will, we by the skin of our teeth maybe, but we'll survive relegation. And if we do that and we win a cup, it's the memory, isn't it? That's what it's about. Look, because as you rightly say, we finished 10th in the league and don't do anything in cup competitions. Everyone want to go, well done, finished 10th.
Should we put that up on the board at the stadium?
What's that?
Avoided relegation. Yeah, at the stadium on the West Stand where we put 64, 75, 80. Yeah,
2023 avoided relegation.
Didn't go down. Let's put that up. Show a bit of pride, please. To have any chance in Europe, you got to finish top 7.
Yeah,
ain't gonna happen.
Or you got to win a cup.
Or you got to win a trophy. We're in the chance of a 2. I say every year, this is the number 1 trophy to win for me, all day long. So I've got
What
books
if?
dedicated not just to West Ham but to the FA Cup.
But what
So
if? I mean, look, I'm confident we'll get through. I'm. You going? I'm going. You
no,
going? No. I don't know why I'm making my fucking way up there, but anyway, because I don't know how I'm going to get home. But anyway, we win that. We're through to the
fifth round.
fifth round. The irony is, I don't know why they've done it this year, but the third and fourth rounds have replays.
Yes.
I don't know why they decided to do it. So,
What do you mean?
worst
They
case
have
scenario.
replays every year.
Sorry,
They always have replays.
no, I thought replays were scrapped.
Nope.
Am
Nope.
I? Are you
Nope.
sure?
Yeah.
I thought they brought up. I read somewhere
No.
they
They're
brought it back in.
looking at scrapping replays, but keeping replays just for the third round.
Right.
What
right.
it is, as European competitions grow.
I just got a lift home.
There you go. Unfortunately, it's to Taunton. Fucking try to get up. There you go. He's not even taking you home. He's going to kick you out of Bristol or Brizzle. Yeah. So, and Dan's come up and said they've scrapped replays from the fifth round.
Dan,
yeah?
I've sent you a text, mate, but I don't know if you've seen it.
So
but anyway,
if you yeah, come on, Dan.
So they've scrapped replays from the fifth round.
Yeah.
See, okay.
But what will happen is, as European competitions grow in the amount of games that are played, so something has to give. And what you got to remember is that when you have FA Cups, therefore, the 10 days after that has to be kept empty for replays. Well, you can't expand European football and play FA Cup replays. So you can't do that, can you? So something's got to give. Now, the thing that pisses me off about that is, what that is 6 or 7 teams dictating what the other 83 teams get to do, or 85 teams get to do.
Yeah.
That is not right. And you know, I don't know what the answer is. And you know, unfortunately, it seems UEFA competitions are going to be the dominant force.
Because a replay for a smaller team is a good money earner as well. You know, that it's kind of like if like, let's say for Derby, for example, you know, let's say we draw Monday night and then we have a replay at our ground. It's a good income earner for a team like Derby, isn't it? They get a good percentage from the gate receipts and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they're going to keep the replays up to the third round because of that reason, that actually lower league club teams, if they get a replay, if they can, you know, get drawn against a bigger team and get a replay, you know, sometimes that can fund a lower league club for a year. I mean, look what happened up in Scotland in the Scottish FA Cup. You know, what we've got here is a team like Havant and Waterlooville, yeah, knocking out Brighton and Hove Albion. And what that does, you know, that and that actually should be protected. Some of the greatest FA Cups knockouts have come in replays from lower league teams.
Yeah.
See, again, you know, it's a when there's only I think in the FA Cup, to answer Chris's thing, is I think it's a 40-40 split and 20 to the FA. So I think that's the split. Some clubs will go on, you can keep all the money. So
what are we expecting on Monday? I mean, we're going to put out. He's going to put out a decent team, isn't he, Moyes?
I think he will, yeah.
And so we're going to see the likes of Areola and Fornals, who hasn't been playing much, probably Downs, etc. You know, it's still going to be. I mean, that's the whole nature of the squad we've now got, isn't it? That we've got. Well, we've got almost 2 teams.
How many channels were put in? You know, I don't know if you did it, but you know, all you see is these images where people would put up every position and the names of the players underneath and going, well, this is the best we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people always do it, August, September, whatever. Oh, we've never had it so good. This is the best squad we've ever had. So, and when you go through it, Areola, Fabianski, that is a toss-up who's the best keeper. Now, the reason why I argue about Fabianski being dropped is I don't think he's done anything that bad to warrant being dropped. Yeah?
Yeah, for me...
I'm not saying Areola's a better keeper than him or Fabianski's... I'm not saying Fabianski's a better keeper. For me, they're level pegging. They are.
I think, for me, the difference between the two is the distribution, because I make you right. Fabianski is demonstrated...
Listen, a goalkeeper's job is not to kick the ball out. It's to stop the ball going in the net still.
A goalkeeper's job is also to start the
No, that's bollocks still.
No, it ain't bollocks.
It is bollocks.
I know you're...
We're not Man City or whatever, yeah? We ain't going to play 15 passes in front of the penalty area.
No, we're not. It's how you distribute the ball, and I think Areola's distribution of the ball is much better.
Well, Fabianski's distribution, he does kick the ball to one of our players. I always find that a bonus. He does. He does. He will throw it out. Yeah, he's cautious because he's not stupid. You don't rush it.
Yeah.
Well, so and that's the thing. So let's go. Look, at the end of the day, Areola in goal, perfectly happy. Fantastic keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I'm going to pick up a point that someone asked earlier on. All this stuff about Areola being unhappy and wanting to move on is absolute rubbish. The reason why Lorient, the French team, made a 6-month bid for him is because their number one keeper's out injured. He's been out injured since November. They need another goalie, and they thought, well, he ain't getting game time, so let's put in a little bid. Doesn't make the player wanting to leave, does it?
No.
It's not his fault that a club has come in and put a bid in for him.
Listen. He, does he really want to play with Leyton Orient in France?
They're slightly better than Leyton Orient, but I know, I get your point.
Yeah, well, Leyton Orient are top of the table at the moment. So,
are they?
Yes, I don't put a bit of respect on their name still. So here's a great stat for you. 1989, yeah, Orient went up, West Ham got relegated.
Yeah, well,
don't worry about that though, people.
But going back to it, he'll put out a decent team, and we should,
Johnson right back. The only problem you got is we're running out of centre halves, aren't you?
No, we ain't got any. And here's a question that Ian's asking: what's your honest opinion on Kehrer? Because he could play at centre half.
Yeah, good enough against Derby. There's an honest opinion.
Fuck me. That's not saying much, is it? Really?
What? Fucking hell! He's good enough to play against Derby, isn't he?
Well, yeah, I think he's good enough to actually be back in the. I know he's had a bit of a shit time, but when you get put. When you've had a bit of a bad time in your natural position, then you're being asked to play at fucking left back, and you get absolutely mullered, and your confidence goes right through the fucking ceiling.
Look, this is what I said on the podcast. So I was in hear it. Yeah, when we signed Kehrer, we thought, wow, a German international defender coming to join West Ham. How great is that? Yeah,
we did.
Then Germany goes to the World Cup and gets bombed out, and this the one we discover actually this is the worst German defence they've ever had, and we sign one of them.
I actually genuinely don't think he's that bad. I think he'll come good. I think he's the sort of player that needs to be, given confidence. He's made a few mistakes. I think there's been some goals that he's been blamed for, which I don't think was his fault. I think earlier in the season. I remember, was it Zuma or someone took the ball up, one of the central defenders, took the ball up, lost possession, and the only person left there was Kehrer, and I think he gave a penalty away. And it's like, well, you took one for the team there, and then there was another, there was an own goal against Spurs where Son was just behind him, who would have scored anyway.
No, generally, people look to blame defenders, yeah, and what they've not done is actually gone all the way back, to find, well, how did we get to this situation?
How did we get there in the first place?
Exactly. It's like people that blame goalkeepers. It's a lonely job being a goalkeeper. You're not allowed to make a mistake.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, you're not allowed to make a mistake. If I drop the ball and it falls in the goal and all my mates are pointing at me, I'm not allowed to say, well, actually, who lost the ball before I dropped it? No, it's my fault because I dropped the ball. But so I make one mistake and they're saying, oh, we lost the game. Yet you lot all made 20 mistakes each. but because it didn't go in, you think you can walk away unscathed.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm with you
no.
because you've got to look at the build-up play, and
Yeah,
you know, and I used to say this quite a lot when we had dear old King Arthur in the team. Whenever we conceded
you
a
was just
goal,
a
I
bully.
could prove that it was Arthur Masuaku who started.
You was just a bully. You was just a bully. Fucking hell. Just a
And,
bully.
and the game that I'll never live down was when we were beating Brighton 3-1. I think it was when Moyes just came back or something. Beating
That
Brighton
was
3-1.
the February.
Was
Do you
that
know
February?
that was February of 2020.
2020.
We were 3-1 up and we drew
3-1 up. He brought Arthur on to secure the back line. Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, he could have brought anyone on. We were cursed against Brighton.
We were cursed. We were cursed. So what are we going to do? Monday, we're going to see a strong team. I think you're right. I think we will see a pretty strong team. We'll see a smattering. We'll see players that aren't getting game time.
There
but
was a
still good
comment
enough.
up, and he was right. You can afford to put. I don't know about. I like to call it like not so much the B team as the A- team.
Who's put a comment up? Sorry,
I don't know. Someone put up about you can play the B team. You can start with the B team and then bring the A team on.
Right.
Which is what we did against Kidderminster.
Yeah.
Which was daylight robbery, actually, wasn't it?
We had no choice.
You know? But, you know, and I suppose that is the way. Me personally, I would prefer to start with the A team before putting the A- team on.
You see,
so I try and win the game early rather than.
Here's the thing, though. We've got players now. All right. I know, you know, we talked about players like Kara.
I just answered Glenn Marshall. Mate, I would never make a case for Roberto. Yeah. There's 3 goalkeepers. Roberto, he's not the worst. Yeah, for me. Stephen Bywater, who was better than Roberto. But if anybody wants to see a car crash, he only played the once, and his name's Sasa Ilic. We lost 4-0 to Everton.
But we had what was Scott's name? Name's gone. Mac, someone who was
no, you're talking about not McNightmare, Alan McKnight.
Yeah.
I know he's McKnight. That's right. Alan McKnight was Celtic and Ireland's #1 keeper when he joined us.
And he became West Ham's one of West Ham's worst keepers when he joined us.
You know what? The thing is, he came in to replace Parks, and a legend, yeah. And he's come in, and we did okay to begin with. We had a good start, and then the season started to slip away, and the fingers were pointed at 2 people, yeah. They were pointed at David Kelly, and they were pointed up front. And they were pointed at Alan McKnight at the back. And guess what? They were the 2 new players.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So, Monday night, strong team. We're going to win it with aplomb and end up getting, I don't know, fucking Liverpool or something away, or whoever's left in it. It'll be, but then again, it doesn't matter, does it? You know, if we want to win this, we got to beat whoever we got in front of us, haven't we?
Yeah.
Have we got the squad that will take us through to at least the semi-finals? I know it depends on who you get.
It's the luck of the draw.
Enough? Say again.
Luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And the cup football is the luck of the draw. You know, you can go back to some of the good runs that we've had. You know, look at that year where we beat Man United, the all-conquering Man United 1-0 away, Di Canio, 27th of January. Cool. Was it 27th or 29th? Might have been 29th of January. So that's 22 years ago. Wow. You know, Di Canio 1-0, Bartes, alien a taxi. Forget. We then went after that and beat Sunderland away at the Stadium of Light. And Sunderland, we had a cracking team. Fantastic result, 1-0, Freddie Canute. And then we get the 6th round against Tottenham. So we've just drawn 3 Premier League teams in a row. You know, you go back the other year again in the League Cup, wasn't it, last year? You know, we beat Man United. We knocked out Man City on penalties. And then who do we draw? Tottenham in the next round.
Yeah.
It's the luck of the draw. You know, you got to do it. You got to win it. but you need that luck of the draw, because if you keep drawing Premier League after Premier League team, the good news is there's only 10 Premier League teams left in the cup competition now. Yeah. So with Arsenal falling, there's 10. And if you look at it, so you got Man City are still there, I suppose. Spurs, I fancy us in a cup game at the moment. Yeah. It's probably only City, Liverpool are out, aren't they? Didn't Liverpool get knocked out?
I genuinely don't know.
I think
You could be
Liverpool
right.
are out.
Yeah.
Arsenal are now out. You know,
But the irony is that that's not the sort of team that might knock us out. It's a team from like the Championship or something like that that will probably end up doing us.
well, you know, that is the West Ham way, isn't it? You know,
It is the West Ham way. Well, let's talk about another cup because that's coming back sooner than we know. Brighton play Liverpool, so they're still in it.
but yeah, but look, that's two that, well, you know. So actually, when you look at it,
Yeah, one of
there's
those
another
teams
one
going
goes.
out.
So
Yeah.
that, you know, there could be, I don't know if there's another. You see, you could be looking at 7 or 8 Premier League teams in the
Left in it.
last 16. The funny thing about it, lastly, Monday night is, I'm pretty sure they make the draw before we play.
They do. 6
I
o'clock.
don't like that, and I'll tell you why.
I don't like it either.
Because if we get drawn against some shite team, yeah, no, because so now you're sitting, we ain't played the 4th round, and we're already thinking, I wonder if we get in the 6th round, because we'll do them in the 5th. But this is West Ham, isn't it? And then you go out and get done. And you're thinking,
This is it. Take your eye off the ball.
We'd have beat them in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the bad thing is, our name's in the hat for the 5th round.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, true. The irony of that, it is.
So we're all going to be watching the 5th round draw, thinking, who will we get? Well, so I don't like playing last.
No, I don't like it. I like the old-fashioned way. Get the games out of the way.
Yeah,
Then do the bloody
it should
draw.
be played on a Saturday, and I'll give it on a Sunday. But you know, I don't even agree on a Friday night either. Saturday and Sunday cup football.
Yeah. Well, talking of games being played, like I've mentioned, Europa Conference is back very soon. It's not far away. If there's a cup that we're going to win, in all honesty, being serious for a moment, it's got to be the Europa Conference, isn't it?
Definitely.
We've got to be one of the favourites, haven't we?
Well, there's a way to look at it. So if you look at the teams in the competition, so you look at the FA Cup, look at the teams left in the competition and the quality of the teams. Look at the quality of the teams left in the Conference League, and even us at the moment in this situation
are still
luck of the draw. If you can, you know, Lazio worry me.
Yeah.
But, you know, luck of the draw, you don't know. You know, they might be chasing Champions League football and think we'll put a Mickey Mouse team out.
Well, there's something like 15 odd points ahead. So in Serie A, they're way ahead at the moment.
So
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
You know, it's one of them. It could go. The only thing is, you know, with Roma winning it last year, Lazio may think, well, we got, you know,
we need to do that too.
We need to do this. We need to shut them up. Yeah.
Dean's asked this question. I honestly believe we can win the Conference League.
Yes.
And we've discussed this.
Yeah.
What position in the league would keep us happy?
Us. Us. Listen.
All right. Dean, you're going to have to give your answer in a minute because I already know Nigel's answer. So, Nigel, you give them your answer.
Mate, you win a trophy and we go down, and I'm still banging the daily, you know, if more, let's face it, Moyes puts a proper trophy on the table, but we end up going down, I don't know what you do.
Yeah,
for the life of me, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
I suppose, you know, keep the peace. I could go 17th, you know, but frankly, if we won a cup and got relegated, I'm happy, because guess what, people, they'll be putting that name up on the boards, yeah, and we need about another 30 more cups to catch Arsenal. Arsenal's honours board near enough goes all the way around the stadium.
Yeah.
But just remember when you're there, people, it don't say 1980.
See, Trini agrees with you. 17th on goal difference will
Yeah,
do for me
yeah,
if we
that's
win a
right.
trophy. And
Yeah,
I won't lie, because I will remember the trophy far more than going, that was a shit season in the Premier League,
yeah.
because the trophy's there. And I agree. And I know a lot of people really disagree, and a lot of people will see it as, well, it was the Farmers League and we didn't play anyone of worth, etc. Who gives a toss? Quite frankly, I think we do stand a really good chance of winning the Europa Conference.
And the thing about the Conference League is, and for me, because when I looked at it in this way, that was for me. Obviously, I'd rather win the FA Cup, yeah. But then priority Conference League, and I'll tell you why. And it has sort of panned out though. Possibly, I still think possibly the top 7 may be Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Man City. So in that case, that's all the European League places taken and swallowed up. Yeah, and remember, you only get Europe in 7th spot if the winners of the League Cup have already qualified for Europe. Yeah, so when you look at who's left in the League Cup, and if they've not already qualified, so just by hook or by crook, Southampton did manage to win the League Cup, which it don't look likely. But and they finished, they would go into Europe. So only the top 6 would then go into Europe. Because the Europa Conference spot, I believe, does that not go to the League Cup winners?
It does. It does. But if we win it, well, no, we're in Europa League.
Right. So if we win the Europa
yeah.
Conference, we go in Europa League. Now, to get Europa League football, guaranteed, you have to finish 5th. And then if the winners of the FA Cup have already qualified for Europe, then you finish 6th. So for me, I get it. You want to win every game. You want to finish silent league. But what is really the point of trying to finish 10th and forsaking cups when actually
is that our future, Nigel? I mean, let's be really serious for a minute. Is that our future as a team? We should be focusing more on making sure that we keep stable in the league, and because there's so much money in those top 7 teams, should our focus be cup competitions? And just continue to try and win something like that. It's
our past.
Is that failure? If all we concentrate on is cup competitions and not a league position.
But and this is the thing, what have West Ham won?
Well, since when?
Cups.
Well, it's been a long time.
When you look at the honours list, we've won the FA Cup 3 times and European Cup Winners' Cup. Cups. We've never won a league, and people go and look at the. And this is the mad thing is, we can either be proud about this or embarrassed about this. But I maintain we're the biggest club in the world to have never won a league title in its country, or the top flight league title. Because when you go through that list of world football clubs, in how big they are, money, value, everything, when West Ham's in it. You look at all the clubs above them, all won a league title at some point in their history. So what makes us a big club is us, the fans. Yeah, we've made us a big club, and we are a big club, but we're a big club who's actually not really won a lot. So we need to win things, and the only things we can win are the cups. And that's why I bang my head against the wall, especially like the League Cup. Because that is possibly the easiest cup to win.
Yeah.
With the luck of the draw. And it's, I don't know. We'll see, and Newcastle are a tough team this year. I hope they win the League Cup. I do, just because it's someone different. But I'll tell you what, in 5 years' time, I'll probably think of Newcastle what I think of Man City, and they bore me now.
Let's ask this question. I didn't want to talk about this tonight, but it's come up.
Yeah.
Will Moyes be manager by the time we get back into playing Europe? Will he still be our manager? Do you think
if he beats Nottingham Forest?
What about between now and then?
No, look, I think if he loses Derby and then loses Newcastle, Tottenham, or Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham, that's tough. Yeah,
it is tough.
But if he beats Derby, that's 1 defeat in January. So I hate stat, and the reason why I don't like stats people is because people can then turn around and go, "Well, we've only lost one game in January,"
Yeah.
and that's a fact, Dodds. Um, you know, and it don't tell the real story, does it, of January? And
No.
that's why, for me, stats are bollocks
Yeah.
because it don't tell a story.
Because you can skew them any way you
Yeah,
want.
you can
So,
skew them any way you want.
yeah.
So, but if he loses Derby, which is an embarrassment, and then loses Newcastle, loses Chelsea, and loses Tottenham, I, and uh, that's one win in the league in 10, 11 games.
That's bad.
That's sayonara for me.
I've
And
said,
do you know what? There's a little bit of hope for me today, and it's people give me stick or whatever. I'm so relieved Bielsa didn't go Everton.
do you reckon?
Yeah, I was so relieved he didn't because I still,
You hold him in some
mate.
esteem, don't you?
Do you know what? If he would come, I'd sack David Moyes. I'd pick the phone up. I'd do it. Wouldn't need Mark Noble to do it.
I don't know. I've discussed this with you before, and I'm not sure what you're seeing in Bielsa that I don't. I keep hearing he's a great tactician, good technical manager, coach, etc. But I'm not sure I really saw that at Leeds, to be honest with you.
What did
I
you
think
see
he
at
did it
Leeds?
when he brought them up.
What did you see at Leeds? What did you see at Leeds? I know what I saw at Leeds.
I saw youth.
I still see it now, actually.
Yeah, saw youth. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they were. I don't think they were like they. I don't. I think there was a makings of a good team there, but I'm not so sure Bielsa really got the best out of them in the Premier League.
Mm.
I know he did it, bringing them
No,
up.
no, obviously he
But
didn't, because they were struggling and they
yeah,
brought in Jesse Marsh, who's actually sort of carried on
he has.
sort of
Yeah,
Bielsa in a way. But what I saw was entertainment. Whenever I watch Leeds, it's always a good game. And I've
yeah, I
said it
get that.
before,
Yeah,
I can rattle off games where we've been beat and I've walked out and have thought, I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it sometimes there you go. I do think, and listen, do I think we'll be a top 6 team with Bielsa? Not on this earth. But will it be fun? You bet your bottom dollar it will be.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's a Super League, yeah, and there's a Super League already, and it's called the top 6.
Well, top 7 now.
Top
Well,
7.
we
Well,
don't include Spurs. So
no,
it's still
top 6 plus 1.
All right. We're coming up to just over an hour
Can
and
I
a
just
half.
pick up Ian Gravitt saying that
Go on.
Moyes has won as a manager? He's never won anything. That is true. He's right as a manager. He did win the Freight Rover Trophy as a player, though.
What? You dug that one up, didn't you? Fuck it.
And guess who was playing with him
Go on.
at the back?
Go on.
Newman. Mate, they're legends. Do you know them two are bona fide legends at Bristol City?
Yeah.
For that fact, yeah.
Well,
They went to Wembley and won the Freight Rover Trophy.
That's
Don't get better than that, is it?
That's his claim to fame. That's his claim to fame. Right. Anything else before we go? Score prediction for Monday.
It's difficult without knowing the team. Do you know what? It ain't going to be easy. Yeah, because
No, I don't think it will.
Derby's up for it. The thing is, the fans are winning football. No matter whether it's League One or whatever you're leaguing. If you're watching winning football, you're going to that game happy.
Yeah,
and I reckon it'll be a cracking atmosphere. And hopefully, 4,600 West Ham fans will turn up. We just got to hope that the proper, that Moyes puts a team out there worthy of that following.
I think he has respect for the travelling fans. I really, not that he doesn't have respect for the home fans, because he does talk about the atmosphere at the ground, etc. But he has a lot of respect for the travelling fans, and I think he will put out a decent team, to be honest with you. I think it makes a nice change to see a manager trying to put out a team to win a game, because we've seen it so many times where under Pellegrini, for example, putting out a team against Oxford where we got trounced 4-0. I was at that one as well, and it was just fucking awful. And you make your journey, you make your way up there, and when you see the team and when you see the performance, and you just wonder why you even bothered. So I think he will put a team out there. I'm going to go for 3-0. We're going to have a clean sheet. Ariola's going to prove how good a goalie he is.
Well, let's hope it don't go to penalties, because you might want to rush Fabianski on quick before the end of the game.
Well, you can always make the substitution just before full time.
Keep one sub back.
Well,
no,
it
won't go to penalties till the replay.
Replay.
Actually, replay would do me, but I think we'll definitely try and throw over a replay. So don't lose. Stay in the cup competition. I do think we'll win though, 2 or 3-1. Yeah. Right. Johnny Osborne. Look, has Nigel been on the sunbed? No, I've got the lights on. He's there. Also known as Virgil. Put him up. Go on, isn't it?
There he is. Oh, hang on. Got him.
Claret and booze. Look at that, people. Thinks he's Virgil van Dijk, but actually he's more Virgil from Thunderbirds. So.
And Glenn's answered for him. It's the glow from his heater.
Fucking is.
His, not his.
It's the reflection from the cup.
Yeah, that's the real cup, people. There you go.
There you go.
Right, Nigel. Pleasure as always.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining in. Sorry I didn't read out your comments, but you can see I've been putting them up on the screen. So thank you all for getting involved. And thank you, Nigel. Much appreciated. We're gonna win the cup. We're gonna win the Europa Conference, and we're gonna stay up by the skin of our teeth. And then Moyes will be given another 5-year contract just to piss Nick off. Much appreciated, everyone. Have a good weekend. There won't be a West Ham Weekly on Monday night because I'm going to be in Derby. There won't be a West Ham Weekly on Tuesday because it's the final day of the transfer window. And I know people have been asking about, are we going to sign players? I think we will get at least another one central defender, at least. So watch out for that. So there'll be a West Ham midweekly next Wednesday night. So do look out for that as well.
More than
Much
just a podcast. Hold up. You've done
go on.
Fucking co-host. You made me co-host.
Here's how it works, people. Nigel, do you fancy doing a show? Silence. Tonight, when I was just about sort of getting ready to do nothing,
He was just going to go down the jazz club, some basement. Fucking hell wants to do it. I think every other week. I think every other week.
Are we committing to that?
Well, hold up. We're not getting married. We'll just say every other week for now. So not next week, people, but the week after.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
you were going to promote? Were you going to say something? The podcast.
So obviously more than just podcasts will be probably out Wednesday, Tuesday, because obviously we're going to be watching the game Monday night. Well, I'd imagine 3 of us will, and Sean will be in some restaurant somewhere watching it on his phone. Because that's what he does, people. And if you don't follow it, watch out. 6'2" news.
Yeah. Hang on. There you go.
If you're not following it, go follow it, because and check out the Twitter account 6'2" news, because exclusive videos will be going up on there.
Good, yeah, well done. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
So I'll be putting up some videos this week coming up. I won't be using YouTube for me. I'll be using that Twitter account.
So look out for that. That'd be really good. So if you haven't become a member of 6foot2.co.uk, if you go on there, it will give you all the information that you need about the Twitter videos, all the stories. They've got some great writers there. That Stel bloke just writes some screaming stories on.
He's a bit
really
beggy. He's a bit beggy.
I asked you to bloody like your own bloody website. For fuck's sake. So yeah, go on to that. Subscribe to 6foot2.co.uk, and you'll get all the links for videos and stories, and it's free. So what more do you want? And also, you get the benefit of seeing some really good stories, and they are good because you know you're good about all the history of West Ham when he puts them up. Are you going to do a FA Cup history story? Is it going up? Or
yeah, no, yeah. So we'll have some. We'll have Sunday and Monday. We'll do some FA Cup stuff, and I'll be doing a video.
Great. There you go. Right, people, much appreciated. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you all next week. And come on, you irons, I guess. And let's not slip up.
What's it like?
What's it what?
Like, subscribe, and
Oh, yeah, do all that. Do the like,
share,
subscribe. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and all that shit.
comment and everything. Yeah,
all
bollocks. Adios.